What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm finally back in town. I took about a week off. We went to Hawaii for my brother Devin's wedding, so congratulations to Devin and Bobby. They got married. Now you guys are probably wondering why I'm not very tan. I spent like half of the vacation sick, so it kind of sucks going to Hawaii and being sick, but either way, we had a great time. I'm back. We're ready to get back to work, finishing the powder coating oven. So we're basically at the point now where we need to paint it because we're gonna throw all the wiring, all the conduit, the control box, everything on the outside of the oven. I don't wanna have to go through and tear that all back apart to paint it. So we're gonna paint it right now. Now, honestly, I should have painted it before we put like the window gaskets on and the door hinges and some of the other stuff, but it is what it is. We'll mask some of it off and I mean, it's not a huge deal. Like this gasket here, you can see, we'll just mask it off. Not a huge deal. I'm not gonna go through and take that all off. On the inside, not much to mask other than there's the circulation fan. I'll probably just stuff some paper or something up in there so we don't get a bunch of paint in that fan. Other than that, not much masking. So what we're gonna paint this with is actually a Cerakote piston coat. Now, a lot of people recommend not painting the inside of the oven just because it gets hot, and if your paint starts falling off, it's a major pain in the butt. You either gotta scrape it all off, or you might as well just cut all the rivets off and resheet it. This stuff right here, this piston coat is good. I believe, I'll double check it, I believe up to 1800 degrees. Obviously the oven's not gonna see more than, I mean, you bake at 400, but around the elements, I'd imagine it probably hits 800, maybe 600. It's definitely way hotter right around where the elements are. So either way, this stuff should hold up as long as we can get the prep right. Now, the best way to do this would be to sandblast. It's dumping rain outside. I do not want to, I honestly don't want to sandblast it. I don't want sand all over inside my circulation fan, light fixtures. I mean, I just don't want sand everywhere. So we're just gonna go through and manually abrade this thing, try to get it as clean as we can. We gotta get every speck of oil off. This cold rolled steel does come oiled, so we need to clean it probably 10 times just to get all the oil off. And then we gotta scratch it all up, 80 grit on the DA. And I also have this little nylon cup that works really good. I'll show you guys that in a second, but we're gonna do that and then just spray this stuff out. This stuff is actually, it's called piston coat. It's actually made for coating the tops of pistons in your engine. So it's a very strong coating, withstands a lot of temperature, and it should be really good for this. And it's a cool color. It's like a burnt bronze color. I think it's gonna look really good. I'm gonna do a few accents, probably. Oh, I forgot completely about that sign. The AVR Customs, I'll cut a little sign for it, and then a few of the hinges, or like the hinge brackets that we built, I'm gonna do those in black just to get a little bit of an accent on it. I think it'll look really good. Well, I gotta stop you guys real quick and show you some of the new merch that we just came out with. We got a whole new line of hats, sweaters, and shirts. Check this out. So I know a lot of you, when I did the last Make Toyotas Great Again, a lot of you guys wanted to come back, and we changed up the design a little bit with the 2024. We got the shirt, that's a t-shirt, the sweater, and the hat for that one. We got this new design here, the Evolution, with, actually that was my green truck, one of the first trucks I did on the channel. I think it was the second one. So we got that. That's a cool shirt, or sweater, shirt. And then we got this little wrench design here. That's the same as this t-shirt. That's the front, and the big wrench deal is on the back of that one right there. Pretty cool design. And then we got this one here. So a couple new shirts. Like I said, this is sweater, and then these 4 are t-shirts, and then the 2 hats. You can check these guys out at avrcustoms.com if you want to pick any of this up. Well, there's a paint job. This actually turned out really nice. It did darken up the inside, so I'm very glad we have lights in there, but it should stay on there. It should look good and it should never rust. We got all the wiring in, those are all buttoned up already, all the 90s. You can see all the element wiring is right there. We're gonna mount the control box right here, and then we'll just have to tap into these wires for the fan and lights, just run them down here. And then we have our lead here for the temperature probe inside. So what we got for a control box. This is from Auber Instruments. This is like their do-it-yourself kit. You can actually get the kit with everything installed in the box, everything wired in. That is one option. It is cheaper to go this route, and obviously they give you instructions on how to do it. There's a video online on their website, I believe, on how to do it, but everything is pretty laid out pretty nicely. You get all the wiring with all the ends on it already, so there's not a ton of different wiring that you need to, connections you need to splice in. It all should be pretty much plug and play. So this is a dual solid state. These are 40 amp relays, and then you got timer, controller, the PID controller, all this other stuff, the timers, the alarms. So how this works, there's 4 heaters in the oven, but there's 2 different circuits, so they'll be tied. There'll be 2 heaters tied together and into these, and then there's 2 knobs for that, and then you can see temp, alarm, on, off. That's what these 2 other switches are for. There's the temp alarm and the timer alarm. There's a reset button, a light button, a fan button, and then, like I said, this is the PID controller with the oven temp. That's actually controlling the temperature. And then there's the timer, which are these 2 here. So that's what we got to work on next. Get this entire box wired in, and then I want to get it mounted on the oven, and then we'll finish running all of our wires into the box. So if you guys are building one of these and want to check out a control box, this Auber Instruments box, like I said, this thing's set up super nice. It should be really easy to get together. If you don't want to go through the hassle of putting it together, like I said, they do have one that is 100% complete. You'll get it, you can bolt it right on your oven. Obviously you'll have to wire in like the power and the elements and everything to your oven, but all this stuff inside the box is already pre-wired. There's that option too. If you guys want to check out this control box, I'll have this one linked down in the description box. Now guys, we got some rearranging to do still, but we got the oven the only spot really to put it. All my 220 power is over in this corner, so the table needs to be here, the air compressor, the oven, and the welders kind of all need to be in this one little spot. So I think I'm gonna move the sander and the drill press out of that area. We'll put the welders right there, and then the really cool thing is I can throw that small oven. I want to keep the small oven for little tiny parts. I'm gonna just store that inside of this oven, and then when I build my cart, which we're gonna do next, I'm gonna build it basically around that oven so that we can throw that small oven in and then roll the cart in and store everything in this oven. So now we got it plugged in, we got everything wired, we are ready to go. Let's fire this thing up and see and just make sure everything works. So it's got this main breaker right here that powers up everything. Not really sure how to use this timer and this. I think this is a temperature. So you set the temp here up to, like, I don't know, just say 200 degrees for now. Let's see if that'll set. Okay, we got that set for 200 degrees. Timer, I gotta look in the book and see how to use that. But either way, let's try the lights and the fan. Oh, fan turned on. Let's see if the lights are on. Let's open this bad boy up. Look at that, lights on, fans on. So it sucks air from the top here and pushes it out at the bottom, which that thing actually moves quite a bit of air. That should actually work really good. Lights aren't too bad. Brightens it up in there. I mean, obviously you don't need it super bright, but I think that's gonna work. All right, so we know those work. Let's try the heaters. I think since we're set here, I'm not sure if the timer is gonna affect this, but we should be able to turn the heaters on and we'll see. Let's see if these things turn on. They should turn bright red. Well, look at that, guys. Heaters are working. Oh, it's already warming up in here. So I'm hoping this is a ceramic blanket that's actually made, like, designed for fire stoves and whatnot. It should be able to withstand the heat of these elements right on it. But from my research, people were saying this is a must-have. You lose a lot of heat having the elements basically right against the metal. So that insulation blanket there kind of helps radiate the heat back and into the oven. All right, we got this cart all done up, looking good, and it does fit around the oven. So kind of my thought process up here is I have these hooks and I cut all these holes in it, or all the slots in with the plasma table. The reason I did that is because obviously it's easier. It's gonna work way better than welding on more plate with holes in it or something. But another thing is with my hooks, there shouldn't be much powder going inside of that tube. So I should be able to use the hook to ground, and then I'll just take my ground wire and maybe just put a post down or just clamp it on the bottom or have a little post down there or something. But that should work the best with actually getting a ground through the hook. So I'm stoked with it. That should work really good. Well, I hate to bring you guys bad news, but we got something very important to talk about. If you guys aren't familiar with my family, 3 of us brothers, there's 4 of us brothers, 3 of us actually do YouTube. So it's me, Cameron, and Devin. I do obviously the truck stuff, the Toyotas. Cameron does like the dirt bikes, and Devin does cars. And if you guys haven't been watching my other brothers, Cameron has been sick for like the last 6 years. He's been battling cancer on and off. It's come back 4 times after treatments. He's done every kind of treatment imaginable, and nothing has worked. And I have some absolutely heartbreaking news. He passed away a couple days ago. Our whole family is extremely sad about it. I mean, we're devastated. It really sucks. Cameron was such an awesome dude. He inspired so many people. He was the hardest working guy you ever met in your life. I mean, going through cancer 4 times throughout 6 years, he never gave up hope. He was always so positive, never gave up hope, never quit fighting. And eventually, I think his body just got so weak from all the treatments and all just fighting the cancer, and he ended up getting pneumonia, and he had liver issues. And well, unfortunately, he passed away. So in remembrance of Cameron, he loved dirt bikes, and he had this cylinder. So I'm gonna take this cylinder. We also got a Fathead from Fathead Racing. They actually sponsored Cameron. And as a family, we all thought it would be really cool to kind of make a cylinder into a urn for his ashes. What we're gonna do is, I need to block, this is a 2-stroke, so we need to block off all the ports. I think what the plan is you can see the skirt coming off the bottom. I'm just gonna cut that skirt off, make a plate to block that off, and that'll block off these transfer ports here, and there's a port back there. That'll all block that off, and then we'll have to block the exhaust port. I'm just gonna make a plate for that, really simple, and then I'll probably just plug that hole there, and then we're gonna throw the head on it, and we're gonna use that for a yurt. I think that'd be really cool. And then also, he has this really special spot on his property that he wanted some of his ashes spread. And we're also going to build him a remembrance sign with the dates from when he was born to when he passed. And then he owned a company called Prime. So I'm going to take the Prime logo and cut that into it. I think it'd be really cool. So we're going to do that. We're going to get this done. We're going to get these plates. I'm going to make a little stand for it, actually. Maybe, I don't know, 4 inches off the ground or something. Just make a little cool looking stand for it. And then we got to do some powder coating. So I want to powder coat all the plates for this. And then that big sign, I want to powder coat. And that's what we're going to use to try out this oven. And we're going to try out a entirely new powder coating setup, a new gun setup. So you guys know I've been using the Redline gun. That one's been, it's been okay. It's been decent for the price. It's like 300 something bucks, maybe like 360. And it's worked good for that. But doing like multiple coats, when you have to do a base coat and then a clear coat, it's not very good for doing that. So I got hooked up with Royal Coats powder coating. They do powder coating guns, a bunch of other stuff too, but they sent me their entire setup. We're gonna get that unboxed in a minute here. I wanna get all this stuff built and get it all sandblasted, ready to go. Then we'll unbox the entire powder coating gun. We got to figure out that, because it's way different than the Redline. The Redline had just really, really simple adjustments. This one's got way more dials, way more adjustments. You can really fine tune the gun in. But we need to learn it all. So we're gonna practice on this stuff. And also, if you guys want to donate to Cameron's family, he has a wife and 2 beautiful little kids. He's got a 2-month-old, I believe, and a 2-year-old boy and a girl. And if, like I said, if you guys want to donate, there is a donation site set up already. I'll have that linked in the description box, just down below in the description box of this video. It'll be the first link. Go check that out. And if you guys have a couple extra bucks to throw Haley's way, it would really, really help her out. Any donation is greatly appreciated. All right, guys, this is everything we got for the Royal Coats powder coating setup. Now, he did send me a bunch of extra stuff. This is the gun itself. This is the RC2, which is the control box right here. This right here is your factory cup. This is what, you know, if you were to buy just this gun, this would come with that, and it mounts on the bottom of the gun right there. I did swap out that fitting for a quick connect here because we're going to use a little bit different setup. We're not going to use that one. This is a different hopper setup that he also sent. We're not going to use that one either. We're going to use this. This is a fluidizing hopper. What this does is it basically, they call it fluidizing the powder. It basically has air running in the bottom of the hopper here, or this cup, and it's turning the powder, and it's constantly moving that powder, and you just get a way smoother, way more even powder cloud. We also need to run this. This is a regulator set up to regulate the pressure in the pot here, and also pressures here for the powder cloud and whatnot. We still got to, like I said, I'm new to this. We got to dial all this stuff in. He also did send over the light kit for it, so it's got 2 lights on right there. You can see that should be really nice to have the lights. So I'm excited to try those. Got the strobe. A couple other things, hoses, a couple fittings. This is a Corona ring. I've never used one of these. Apparently this helps with like Faraday areas. This is a funnel for filling the cups with powder. So if you guys are looking for a better powder coating system and want a setup like this, you can head over to Royal Coats Powder Coating. That's the website for it. Like I said, this is all my research anyway says this gun is the way to go for the money. I mean, you can go spend thousands on a gun. For the price of this one, I think it's gonna work way better than what we previously had. I think it's gonna be amazing. If you guys wanna check one of these out, head over to royalcoatspowdercoating.com. All right, we're gonna go through and just do a real quick setup on the control box and the fluidizer, all the pressures and everything. If you guys want a more detailed video, or actually a few videos, Royal Coats has videos on their YouTube. I'll link their YouTube channel, but he's got detailed videos on exactly what you need to do to set everything up. This is not gonna be as detailed as his. This is just real quick. So here it is. We're gonna start with the control box first. This is got obviously power, air, and then it's got a splitter to feed the fluidizing box here, and then a ground wire here that basically grounds the control box, and then obviously the line right here that goes up to the gun. So let's flip this thing on. You can see there he recommends turning this air pressure all the way down to set the kV in the microamps, because you do have to pull the trigger. So we're gonna pull the trigger. You can see we're at 0 kV, 13.8 microamps. He suggested starting around 75 kV and 60 microamps. So I'm just gonna start there. We can always adjust as we go. All right, so what we're gonna do is add air pressure, you can see, to this. And this is what basically fluidizes the powder here, and it's this knob right here. So you want it, I'm just going off of his video, but he said you just kind of mix it around a little bit till it like almost starts just fluffing up and moving around. Not bad right there. I think I'm just gonna leave it right there. Well, so far we're looking good. I had the oven at about 300 degrees, but then when I opened the door, obviously you lose so much heat. We're about 250 now, and it's warming back up. But you can see this little door here is super, super nice. You can just come in here, reach in, temp your parts, 259, without losing a ton of heat through the big door. So that's the main purpose of this little door, and it's super, super nice for that. As far as the powder coating gun goes, it needs a ton more dialing in. I didn't spend a whole lot of time on it. I couldn't get like a really nice cloud, but I will say with the very minimal time I spent on it, it works 1,000 times better than that red line. Those parts were completely cold. I didn't even throw them in the oven, and the powder just sticks right to them. That red line, I really had issues with getting the powder to stick on a cold part. That's why, if you guys, I'm sure you guys have noticed, I'm watching my channel, I'd always throw my parts in the oven, warm them up, and then I'd spray them like 150, 160 degrees with a little bit of heat in the part. The powder almost like glues to the part, instead of how powder coating is actually designed to get the powder to stick. So I don't know, it's working really good. It needs a ton more dialing in. Like I said, I probably spent a minute just adjusting stuff to get enough powder to come out, and then I went to spraying it. All right guys, we're up to temp. Let's open this thing up. A little smoky from the gassing off, but we are 415 on the part. Check the bottom. Bottom's a little hotter, 440, but all we need is to hit 400 degrees, and then we bake that 400 degrees for, I believe, 12 minutes, and then we can pull it out, let it cool off, and we're good to go. Well, the first round in the oven was a success. It took about, I don't know, 45, 50 minutes to actually hit 400 degrees on the thermocoupler, like on the actual control box showing 400 degrees, but the parts actually hit 400 degrees quite a bit before that. So I don't know, it's not too bad. Here's a quick peek at the parts. The powder looks perfect. It's super, super uniform, no weird anything going on with it. Looks perfect. If Cam could see this cylinder, this thing turned out so sweet with the stand and everything we made for it. It turned out pretty sweet, so I'm pretty stoked with it. Well, that's about it, guys. Oven is done. It works. If you guys want to build one of these, like I said, I do have the plans. They're finally ready. avrcustoms.com. Like I said, it's a step-by-step instructions with drawings, everything, all the measurements, everything you need to build this oven, with parts list, everything. It's dialed in. It's gonna be super easy for you guys to build one of these if you want. But either way, guys, I gotta get out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Why don't you go smash that thumbs up button, comment, subscribe. We'll catch you in the next one.